My name is Heather. I am a musician and I love to cook. I live here in Luxembourg. I'm from the US originally. I cook at least as many hours a week as I do my official job. I grew up on this absolutely amazing, gorgeous island off the coast of Maine. I mean, you can't ask for a better childhood than that. When we moved down to the coast where my mom was from, we moved in with my grandparents, and my grandmother had been a chef for a family in Boston during the late 30s, early 40s, right after high school. And she was just the most amazing, amazing cook. And I spent as much time with her as possible. I just loved her, and I was super close with her. So this here is a xiaobing dough, and it's a type of dough that they use to make something like a sandwich. So I picked up beef shin, and did a lu beef. And so we'll have this with the xiaobing dough, which is pan-fried with sesame seeds on it. Music and food, I've kind of always felt like they're two of the senses that are particularly, I always love the word ephemeral. It's like my big word. When you're looking at when you're smelling a food, or you're eating a food, or you're hearing a piece of music, it's never the same twice. Even if it is really almost the same, it kind of brings out different emotions. It kind of brings out different resonances in how you think about things, or who you are at that moment will change how you perceive that. This particular dish is another one. When I was vegetarian, and there was a lot of things my mother-in-law would have loved to have made for me, but I wouldn't eat. She would make this for me, which is tea eggs. It's again a very similar broth to the beef, the lu style, where it's aromatic, a lot of with sugar and soy and rice wine, and additionally you have tea mixed inside. And the eggs are boiled. When you peel them, they look like these beautiful, beautiful marbles, and they have this very smoky tea and soy sauce flavor. I think there's so many interesting things to learn from understanding food pathways. In my house, you might have seen my bookshelves. It's 2 full bookshelves of different various cuisines. So in Taiwan, about 25 years ago, they developed bubble tea, which a lot of people have had. It's kind of gone around the world, and they have these little tiny tapioca balls in a milky tea. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm making tapioca flour dough, which will get rolled out. It'll be rolled a bit like this. And I usually set my kids to do this, so they'll probably do this in a minute. So each little ball ends up being a little ball of dough. And when you've got this entire thing made into these little balls, then you boil them for about 20 minutes. And then you rinse them with cold water, and then I'll have a brown sugar syrup ready. Like this is some I made before. You can see the balls are sitting there in the brown sugar syrup. None of us completely feel Luxembourgish, even though we have the passport, but there's so many of us in the same boat, it kind of feels okay. And nobody feels like, I don't ever feel like anybody's anti us being here or anti us. I just know that I have lots of Luxembourgish friends, and I don't speak Luxembourgish with them. I speak English because their English is amazing. And so there is a separation a little bit, but they're also kind of amazing and great. When I met Leon, I met him the first day of university. We were both 17 years old, and it felt like in a certain way, like I'd found my best friend, so that was like great, you know, like we were really, really great friends immediately. When his mom, who's an amazing cook, sort of immediately said, oh, I need to teach you how to cook some Chinese food, I was like so grateful and so happy, because I just thought, this is something I've never had the chance to learn. So my mother-in-law really taught me the beginnings of everything I know when it comes to Chinese food. So I'm making a Sichuan style dish, which is called long cooked beef with tofu skin. So I'm just putting the beef in the water, and then when it gets back up to boil, I'll let it boil for just a minute or two, so that way all the blood is out and all the impurities are gone. The beef is going to be quickly blanched and then cleaned, and then there'll be some aromatics that will be fried in the pan. And then some chili bean sauce and some sweet fermented sauce and a few other things like soy sauce and stock will be added all together. And then the beef will be cooked in there for about an hour to an hour and a half, along with tofu sticks, which are dried tofu skin rolled up into little rolls. My dad, he had grown up not in Maine and had a lot more experience traveling than my mom had. He was trying to constantly expose me to eating Indian food, to eating Mediterranean food. I remember him taking me to Boston one time and we ate calamari, and that was the first time I'd ever had squid, because like you just did not eat that where I was from. When you're smelling a food, or you're eating a food, or you're hearing a piece of music, they are very connected. They're also both very creative, and you have to be very flexible and in the moment, because something can go wrong so easily, either in a performance or in cooking. And you have to just be ready to be like, I'm gonna jump in and fix this in my own way and create something new, create a new way of interpreting this, because you don't want, the last thing you want is for a performance to fall flat. The last thing you want is a dish to just be thrown away because you weren't able to salvage it. I mean, and there's things that go wrong all the time. So you just have to have that spontaneity and that ability to jump in and find a new way to go forward.